There's something sacred about mornings. Not because of the sunrise, or the quiet, or some mystical energy, but because it's the one time of day we still have control over. Once the world wakes up, once the texts start rolling in, and the meetings begin, and the notifications don't stop, you start losing that space. That's why what you do with your mornings matters. Not because some productivity guru said so, but because the first hour is where your mind takes its shape. This video isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about becoming still. Here are 10 morning routines rooted in Stoic philosophy, gently adapted for the world we live in today. Simple practices, honest reflection, and a quiet kind of strength you can carry with you long after the sun comes up. Let's begin. Routine 1. Wake up before the world does. You don't need to wake up at 4 in the morning, but you do need a moment before the noise starts. The Stoics believed in owning your morning because it set the tone for everything else. Marcus Aurelius, in his private journal, reminded himself to rise, even when he didn't feel like it, because life was meant to be lived with purpose. Waking up early isn't about grinding harder, it's about carving out space to just be. Before the world asks you to be everything else, even 30 minutes earlier can make all the difference. Get up before the scroll, before the emails, before the pressure. Just enough time to remember who you are before the world tells you who to be. Routine 2. Start with stillness, not stimulation. What's the first thing you touch when you wake up? If it's your phone, you're not alone, but you're also not in control. Stoicism is about mastering your response. But you can't respond wisely if you start the day overstimulated. Before the dopamine hits, before the flood of opinions and alerts, give yourself a moment of stillness. Sit in silence. Breathe. Look out the window. Let your brain arrive. You don't need soft lighting or background music. You just need space. It may feel small, but in that stillness, you're reclaiming something. And you're training your mind to follow you, not the other way around. Routine 3. Journal to untangle the mind. You don't need to be a writer. You don't need a fancy leather notebook or the perfect pen. You just need to be honest. The Stoics journaled every day, not for inspiration, but for clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote down reminders, not masterpieces. Seneca reflected on where he slipped and how to do better. Epictetus told students to write things down so they could live them, not just learn them. You can do this in 5 minutes. What am I feeling right now? What do I need to let go of? What kind of person do I want to be today? You're not writing for likes, you're writing to see yourself more clearly. And that's one of the strongest things you can do. Routine 4. Cold exposure. Start uncomfortable on purpose. You don't have to jump into an ice bath, 6 in the morning. But a cold shower, a splash of cold water on your face, it's more than enough. The Stoics believed in voluntary discomfort, not to punish themselves, but to prepare. Seneca would go days eating the simplest meals and wearing rough clothes, just to remind himself, I can handle less than luxury. I'm not fragile. Cold exposure is a modern version of that. You're not trying to suffer, you're reminding yourself you're capable of hard things. And there's something else. Once you've conquered that first small discomfort, you carry that momentum. Because the day is coming either way. But now, you're awake for it. Routine 5. Set a clear intention. If you don't know what your day is about, someone else will decide for you. The Stoics didn't believe in rigid to-do lists. They believed in intentional action. One of Marcus Aurelius' go-to reminders. Don't waste time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. So ask yourself, what would it look like to live well today? Maybe it's being more patient. Maybe it's finishing something you've been avoiding. Maybe it's showing up fully for one conversation that matters. Keep it simple. One intention. Not perfection. Just direction. When your day has a why, the how gets easier. Routine 6. Movement with presence. You don't need a gym membership to move your body. A short walk. A light stretch. A few deep breaths while standing in the sunlight. The Stoics saw the body and mind as connected. And in modern life, movement helps get you out of your head. You're not exercising for aesthetics. You're reconnecting with presence. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the air in your lungs. Feel alive. You don't have to do an hour. Just 5 minutes of intentional movement tells your nervous system, I'm here. I'm awake. I'm grounded. And that's how you carry calm into the chaos. Routine 7. Practice negative visualization, quietly. This one's subtle, but powerful. Before the Stoics started their day, they would mentally prepare for what could go wrong. Not to be pessimistic, but to build inner readiness. What if someone cuts me off today? What if that meeting doesn't go how I want? What if I get disappointing news? You're not inviting problems, you're softening your resistance to them. So when they arrive, you're not caught off guard. You're not asking, why me? You're saying, I expected this. I've trained for this. That quiet preparation. It turns potential triggers into passing moments. And that's how you stay calm when others spiral. Routine 8. Read something that grounds you. Before social media. Before emails. Before the mental clutter, feed your mind something steady. The Stoics read to remember what matters. Not to escape, but to anchor. You don't need to read a whole book. One paragraph. One page. One line you can carry with you. Maybe it's a line from Epictetus. Maybe it's a quote that reminds you to slow down. Maybe it's a sentence that makes you feel like you're not alone. Truth has a way of cutting through the noise. And when you start the day with truth, the rest of it feels lighter. Routine 9. Practice one act of restraint. Here's where we bring Stoicism into the modern world. We're surrounded by temptation, excess, overstimulation. And the Stoics would tell you, the more you need, the less you're free. So, each morning, practice just one small act of restraint. Skip the sugar in your coffee. Leave the notification unread. Let someone else finish their point before you interrupt. It's not about restriction, it's about remembering your power to choose. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to stop being a slave to impulse. And every small act of restraint is like a muscle rep for your character. Routine 10. Remind yourself, this day is a gift. Life moves fast. We think we have unlimited mornings. But we don't. The Stoics knew that. And they didn't treat it as depressing, they treated it as clarity. This morning you have right now. You didn't earn it, it was given. So breathe it in. The coffee. The mess. The weather. The silence. You don't need to chase meaning today. You can make it. With how you show up. With how you respond. With how you remember that this life, this very moment, is enough. Right here. Right now. That's all you ever needed. You don't have to do all 10 routines. Just pick a few that feel right to you, and do them consistently. Because strength doesn't arrive all at once. It's built, one honest morning at a time. This is the modern art of Stoicism. Not just ancient wisdom, but practical peace. Quiet power. And a mind that's ready for anything. If this brought you calm, clarity, or comfort, subscribe for more. We're building a stronger mind together.